Welcome to this week's episode where we think we figured out why I've been struggling to drop the kilos. We also do Castle Hill and have a good round of workouts. I've also started to do a little bit of hot and cold therapy just as a side project to see how it makes me feel. And it's interesting. So I hope you enjoy this episode and we'll see you soon. I started this journey at 145 kilos with a goal to complete an ironman and change my life. 12 months of work later, I crossed the finish line in Cairns 2024, 30 kilos lighter and super happy.
But the journey's only half done. We've got another 20 kilos to lose. I'm aiming to get down to 10% body fat and find that elusive six-pack.
On top of that, I'm aiming for a high course finish in the Keltman in Scotland, just to keep things interesting.
I hope you enjoy my journey each week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified of each new episode when it drops. Well, it's been another fun-filled week. Sometimes you just got a lot of shit going on. Anyway, so this week I have had some more blood tests just to see if there's anything else going on in my body that might be preventing me from losing weight. I am actually getting a sleep study done because obviously one of the things that can cause some issues around weight loss is not sleeping properly. My doctor doesn't, and I don't think that that's the problem, but we're being thorough and we're going to try and rule it out. So that happens in a couple of weeks and we'll get the blood tests back before then, so we'll know if there's anything out of the ordinary. So this week's been a pretty normal week, I guess. Fergus has backed off on one of the double days and took out my longer run just because I was starting to feel a bit too much fatigue last week, and we want to really just, it's kind of like a cycle, build up for a few weeks to a peak and then drop back a little bit and give the body a chance to recuperate and then go again. So this week has been a bit more, I wouldn't say easy, but a little less fatiguing than last week. So, which is nice. I get my canyon finally gets fitted, not this weekend, but next weekend, so that'll be amazing. So, yeah, everything's pretty same old this week. So hopefully things continue like that. One of the things that I've added in this week is a bit of hot and cold therapy, just to help with recovery, as well as it's supposedly a good way to activate fat loss, specifically brown fat. So that's quite interesting, going from the sauna into the cold plunge and then back again. Certainly it feels nice, like leaves your body kind of not tingly, but I don't know, not really sure how to describe it. You'd have to try it to see for yourself, but I enjoy it. So I'll do that again today after my walk up Castle Hill, which will be a nice way to recover. It seems like this year's going by very quickly. Very quickly. don't know. Maybe that's what happens when you get old. That's what they say. Time goes by quickly. So this last week or so, let's take it back a step. If you've been watching for some time, you will know that I've been doing all the right things and struggling to knock the kilos off. And so this is bothering me, or it has been bothering me. And I couldn't work out for the life of me why it was happening. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, and I realized that even though I've been doing the calories right, been doing the workouts, been doing all of the mechanical things, if you want to put it that way, right, I've been getting one part wrong, and it's a much more difficult piece to manage. It's the stress. Not the stress of trying to lose weight. I mean, that does have its own little bit of stress, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is life stress. Well, another one bites the dust. Not me, but the workout. Legs are struggling this afternoon after doing full squats again this morning. But it's all good. The results will show themselves. So there are some things that you can easily control, like getting up and doing a workout. There are things that are more difficult to control, but are controllable, like food. And so I always imagined that once I managed to control those two things, that everything would be sweet. But there is more. So one of the things I have learned over my time doing this whole journey really is there's two parts. One is how important recovery and sleep is to your body and to your mind, and not to underestimate the importance of it. And the second thing is that now that I've finally put all the pieces together, the stress component is something that I was aware of stress. So let's not pretend I didn't know that stress existed and that it could affect you on a multitude of levels. But now I think I've figured out what it is that actually stresses me. Because I think previously I just thought, oh, well, things in life happen to you and they cause stress. For me, that's not actually how it works, which is a little weird, I guess. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. I've not had this conversation about stress with anybody. So for me, what I've realized is stress isn't a terrible thing happening. Like in and of itself, it might have a stress component to it, but that's not what actually causes me underlying stress. So for me, I think there are two kinds of stress. There are things that happen to you that you have to deal with. And I must feel those things as stress, but they don't bother me in the same way. The thing that causes me stress of the really bad kind is, I want to say not being in control, but that's not really what it is. It's when I'm stuck in a limbo kind of situation where, like my wife not being well is a really good example. For several weeks, even leading up to before we found out that she had a clot in her lung, there was no answer. We knew something was wrong, we knew that something wasn't right, but there was no, oh, well, this is what it is and this is what we've got to do. So for me, whilst there is stress in trying to do something, the stress for me really comes from the not knowing part. I would much rather know what the thing is and then go and do something about it. I'm a very action orientated person. So for me, what I've realized recently is that what I actually need to avoid if I want to reduce my stress is not having bad things happen, because obviously they're going to happen to you anyway. It's the making sure that I don't get stuck in a position where I don't have control over well, where I'm waiting. I don't know, it's hard to describe. So there's two things at the moment that are causing that, or have been causing that. And I had a big talk with my wife yesterday, which was great, because I finally kind of came to me, not as an epiphany, but really just a realization that that's what actually was causing me stress. Because over the last few weeks, my sleep has dropped. I use Whoop to track my recovery and performance and sleep, and it's really dropped off, like much worse than it was for a long period there. And so I think what's really been causing my body to respond by not losing weight is stress. And I don't just mean stress in and of itself, because cortisol levels can certainly affect your hormones and your insulin and other things inside your body, but my recovery, my sleep, all of that stuff has been affected by stress. And I wish it was a number I could measure and do something about it, but it's much more complicated than that. So what I have done moving forward, and I feel much better this week, I've got to say, is that I've put not a plan in place, because obviously we still aren't 100% sure what caused my wife's blood clot in her lung. But for me, when we had our catch up with the doctor, it was talking about all the possibilities, so I can have in my mind a plan for each possibility. I need to be able to know what's going to happen, what I can do next. Being stuck without knowing what I can do or what might happen or how things might work, not having the information is the worst part for me. And so the same for the other thing that's going on in our lives at the moment, which I can't really talk about, but I've basically, again, had a conversation with my wife about what we'll do given certain circumstances. And so I feel now, even though those two things aren't completely resolved, that I have a plan in place given option A, B or C. And so that gives me more, I don't know what the right word is here, it gives me more comfort, maybe, that given any of those scenarios happening, we got it worked out and we'll be moving forward and everything will be good. So I hope this makes sense to somebody, because it's been hard for me to figure out and get right in my head the whole idea of where my stress comes from, because I used to just think that it was really about I run a business and it was stressful, and sometimes money and kids and all of these things, but what I've realized is that it's not the things that cause me the stress. It's when I'm left in a position where I can't make a choice about how to move forward, where I'm stuck with, I don't know what option to pick because I don't know what options there are. And I think that's the thing that's caused me the most problems. And yeah, I guess it sounds simple, but it's revolutionary for me. So now I know what to avoid or how to deal with it when it happens, because there are going to be times in life when that happens, when you are stuck without all the answers, without all the information you need to be able to make a choice to move forward. And so now I know how I can deal with it, because you can't remove it. It's not I can't take antibiotics to get rid of it or whatever. It's a moving target, but we're working with it. So I already feel like everything's working better already, which is great. So I think of stress a bit like, it appears to be a bit like leaving the handbrake on and trying to drive. It's not that the car won't move forward at all, it just can't do what it would normally do. It's probably the best way I could describe it. I already feel like I've I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like when you understand something, it's like another weight being lifted. So hopefully that's the plug that's been holding back the dam. And now that we can pull that out and we can get everything else moving. So watch this space. So figuring out your stress and then figuring out how to deal with it is just like releasing the handbrake on your car. It lets you go. So, and that's kind of how I feel now. I feel like now that I've solved that puzzle, put something in place to, because I think the other thing with stress is it's not like you can make it all go away. Like, it is life, and there are things that will cause stress. No matter what kind of stress affects you, it'll happen. So it's more having a mechanism to deal with it. So once you have that, you're really reducing the stress level. You're not making it go away completely. And so once you've done that though, it is really like releasing the handbrake. Just lets things flow. Everything moves the way that it should. I feel better, I'm sleeping better. So I'm expecting to see some amazing results moving forward. So watch this space.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to know when a new episode drops, click the little notification so you don't miss any. Next week, we finally get my bike fitting on the new Canyon and I take it out on a nice size brick and it'll be great fun. So stick around for that and have a great week.